Lucid's plan to top Tesla with longer range, faster charging and other specs is raising some doubts despite crossing a big paid reservation milestone this month. InsideEVs and Forbes contributor, who has just recently visited Lucid's new showroom in New York City, will be here to point out an upcoming issue. We check out Elon Musk's new home MTV Cribs style apparently in an affordable housing district. You won't believe those living conditions. Our US government once again disappoints us, but this time by cutting the EV tax credits out of the deal. Mustang Mach-E GT range has been unveiled, and it's not what you thought. Volvo implements a controversial self-driving tech, and Xpeng Motors will help you find a parking spot with its new feature. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric. If you are interested in everything that's going on in the amazing world of electric cars, you came to the right place. All you have to do is click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Let's get to our top story. And Lucid Motors has announced that they have crossed 10,000 paid reservations. Yes, Lordstown Motors, they do exist. Paid reservations for their all-electric luxury sedan Air, which is set to do something that no EV was able to do before, which was to take over the reins from EV industry leaders, mainly Tesla, but also Porsche, in a few categories. Tesla will stay as the champion of the fastest production car in the world until either Rimac Nevera or Aspark Owl goes in production, though you don't have to sell your soul to afford a Tesla. And no, not that soul. I mean, you could, you just need like 40 of them. And yes, sure, 10,000 paid reservations is nothing compared to Cybertruck's 1 million plus or over 100,000 in the Ford F-150 Lightning Q, but it is a lot, granted that it is Lucid's first car and the price tag is in 6 digits. Plus, it's more than $100 to put down. It takes anywhere from $300 to $1,000 to reserve a Lucid Air, depending on the version. For that kind of money, you can get yourselves like 3 Cybertruck, F-150 and ID4 reservations and still have some money left to become a premium member of this channel, except I have no production delays and I will deliver immediately. Lucid Motors is due to become a publicly traded company this year, probably at the end of July, and Lucid Air will have the longest EV range of 503 miles, which would be the first time any automaker would be able to surpass the king of EV range, Tesla, which I'm sure will not take this laying down. The Lucid Air will also have the fastest DC charging rate at 350 kilowatts. That crown they're taking from Porsche Taycan at the current 270, but they will be sharing it with the Ioniq 5 and the EV6. The Lucid Air will also have the best free fast charging perk with Electrify America, 3 years unlimited charging. They will be sharing that crown with the Audi e-tron GT and the Volkswagen ID4, which I currently enjoy greatly as the new owner, and I don't care how mad it makes some of you in the comment section, I love it. But Lucid hasn't answered the biggest question out there. Are we there yet? The deliveries of the Lucid Air have been pushed by a year now. Not only that, but also no journalist has driven any type of a prototype or a pre-production version of the car, and almost none of us have been granted access to the factory. The other day, the CEO of Lucid Motors, Peter Rawlinson, stated while talking to CNBC that Lucid is now producing quality validation prototypes at its factory in Arizona, but us, the journalists, are used to driving prototypes and pre-production models and are aware that those aren't perfect, so there's really no good reason why nobody has driven one. So is there something else going on, and should we be worried? For answers, we turn to the InsideEVs and Forbes contributor Tom Moloughney, but before that, a quick reminder that this video is brought to you by Xpeng Motors. Check out the P7, a beautiful electric sedan I just got to enjoy myself earlier this year. It is equipped with the Xpilot 3.0 self-driving tech with navigation-guided autonomous driving feature and even some cool games. You can watch my full review on this channel and also check out Xpeng Motors on Facebook. Both links are down below. All right, Tom, well, deliveries have been pushed by about a year. Me and you have not driven this car, haven't been to the factory. Should we be worried?
You know, I'm not at the worried point yet. they were supposed to start deliveries in the spring. Now they're saying second half of 2020. A lot of people had COVID-related issues with manufacturing, supply chains. Now I know also a lot of people just like to use COVID as an excuse for everything. So, you know, we're just going to have to take them at their word, and hopefully we'll start to see deliveries sometime in the next couple of months.
Hopefully. Now, let's talk about this very interesting thing that Lucid is going to do. It looks like they're going to beat Tesla in a lot of things that, you know, no one was able to do, like the range and charging and so forth. But, you know, besides the fact that, you know, Tesla owners like you will benefit from this because Tesla does need competition, just like any other company, to get better. But is this a moot point at some point? I mean, do we care if we have 400, 500, 600 miles of a range if we're charging these cars overnight every day?
So, you know, the range is definitely directly related to how good the infrastructure is, Alex. We need longer ranges when there's not a lot of charging stations. The more super high speed DC fast chargers are out there, I think less ranges are going to work. You know, to me, 300, 350 miles is as much as you possibly could need in a car. It might be different with a pickup truck because if you're towing and so forth, the range is going to be less. So, you know, I think that this 517 miles or that Lucid's putting out, it's kind of overkill. And I'm not looking forward to Tesla now coming out with, you know, the Plaid Plus or another version with the new battery cells that can go 3 miles further. It really, it's just bragging rights at this point.
All right, and I know you just visited their new store, Lucid's new store in New York, and you've noticed one little thing that I think people are taking for granted, but this might be a big problem for Lucid and Rivian, actually.
Yeah, so Lucid, actually tomorrow, they're having the grand opening at the first New York studio in the meatpacking district of Manhattan. They've opened about 10 of these already, and by the end of the year, they're going to have 25 sales and service stores open in North America. But one of the things that I found interesting was I was told that this is a studio for them to just show what the car is, maybe offer test drives. They cannot sell the car out of this location. Lucid cannot sell the car in New York State at all. Only online purchases. Now, a lot of people assume, well, Tesla's selling their cars in New York, so Lucid should be able to get the same ability to do so and circumvent the dealer franchise laws like Tesla has. That's not true. When in most of the states, when Tesla got permits to open up a few stores, showrooms to sell their cars there, it was specifically that Tesla alone was granted the exemption. They weren't granting the exemption for everyone. And now that the automobile dealers associations are seeing just how successful Tesla is, they're not this little boutique shop. They're selling a lot of cars. They're clamping down and fighting back and trying to stop the Lucids and the Rivians from getting licenses in the States to sell cars. So as it stands right now, if you want to buy a car, a Lucid in New York, you've got to do it online. You can't do it in one of the Lucid studios.
I don't know if you know this, guys, but there is no penalty to subscribe to both of our channels. So don't forget to subscribe to Tom's. I put a link to it in the description of this video. This week we found out where Elon Musk lives after selling all of his luxurious houses. And I know what you're thinking, Alex. He'll be fine. It's not like he's living in a box or a mobile home. He's living in a box, which is a mobile home. I'm not kidding. It is true. Elon Musk is living in a $50,000 prefabricated towable 400 square foot house near Tesla's Texas factory that he rents from SpaceX. So I'm just wondering, if your landlord is SpaceX, do you pay in Starbucks? Okay, I'll stop. What's scary is that despite the fact that it costs less than a Model Y, it still has a nicer kitchen than mine, and I just remodeled. Let's talk about the electric car incentives. Some people are holding off on buying their Teslas and Bolts, waiting for the new tax incentives. Lots of hopes was on the US infrastructure deal that was supposed to have a $10,000 EV rebate, and what can go wrong when we count on our government? The good news is that the deal indeed was reached. The bad news, it doesn't have any EV rebates in it. You're not getting a car. You're not getting a car. Everybody is not. I should mention that the charging infrastructure part of the deal is still there. Now, the current federal EV tax credit is part of the tax code, so the best bet to tackle it is most likely going to be through a tax bill and not an infrastructure bill. There are a couple of those bills out there already. There is a generous Clean Energy for America Act with up to $12,500 in EV rebates per vehicle, and there is a much more simple and therefore passable Electric Cars Act of 2021, which essentially updates and extends the existing deal. I recently spoke to one of the authors of this bill, Congressman Peter Welch. Now, Congressman, people are asking a lot of times, why are we doing this through a tax credit? Nobody likes taxes. As soon as you say the word, people go crazy. Why not have it as a rebate like a lot of states do?
I'd be fine with the rebate, but the tax credit has enjoyed some political support. So part of what we have to do is design a program where we can get the votes.
Let's talk about electric car range, and it is like a Tinder date. It's never the same when you see it in person. So it's almost never when automakers announce an estimated range for their EV and then meet those numbers in production. Now, Ford apparently wants to be different. Great, under-promising and over-delivering. It's gonna ruin it for everyone. They have just announced the Mustang Mach-E GT ratings, and they're actually better than promised. The GT model will have 270 miles of EPA range, which is 20 miles more than previously promised, and the GT Performance Edition will have 260 miles, which is 25 miles more. And I hope this is also the case with the all-electric F-150 Lightning, because that one can really use a news like this. Volvo will implement Luminar LiDARs into its upcoming XC90 electric SUV. I've talked about Luminar before because they have recently introduced a $500 LiDAR, which squashes the concerns of the cost of the LiDAR technology. Man, Elon is probably turning in his sleep in his mobile home. The other car maker that announced they will be implementing a LiDAR into their EVs is the sponsor of this channel, Xpeng Motors. And speaking of Xpeng Motors again, they have announced this month the new valet parking assist for their P7 sedan, which I got to drive a few months ago. The feature is to autonomously drive your car into a garage to a parking spot which you have had the car memorize. All you have to do is have your friend or a family member lay down on that spot to save it for you for when you get there. Now here's an interesting part. The driver has to first watch a guidance video and pass a safety test before using this feature. Hey, we should really implement something like this around here. You know, have people take a safety test before operating a car. You know, some sort of an organization or a department of cars, you know, or like, let's get fancy with it, motor vehicle, Department of Motor Vehicles, you know? Someone get that URL. That thing can be really big one day. For now, it is limited to remembering up to 100 locations and only one parking spot per each location, but hopefully that will change with future over-the-air updates. By the way, don't forget to become a premium member of this channel and have access to all of the exclusive videos, including the latest one when I make Sandy Munro the CEO of General Motors for 3 minutes and see what he does. All you have to do is click on that join button and you will also be supporting this independent YouTuber. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.